Welcome, wastrels and adventurers and everyone else who plays video games and potentially just wants to listen to Sarge and I talk about them. This is the PIPCAST 3000, a bi-weekly podcast where we talk about those things and gaming news and Fallout. And sometimes we have a special guest. We're going to be talking about the Fallout radio music as our topic, but we usually start with our news topics. But I got to do the introductions first. I am Caedo Genesis.
Yes, you are.
I'm joined by my amazing co-host, BADCompanySarge.
I will remain silent.
By my studious friend here, BADCompanySarge.
Sorry, I can't help it.
By my evil mastermind friend, BADCompanySarge.
Yeah, okay, I'll speak this time or else we'll never get through the intro.
Alright. Tip of the day is to drink responsibly.
Yeah, sure.
Which neither of us are doing currently.
I've only been topping up my drink with whiskey. And I've already drunk it twice. We're 5 minutes into recording.
Maybe you should tell the listeners what you're drinking and spell it out like you did for me, because I didn't fully understand what you were drinking.
I'm drinking Pepsi on the Rocks, PEPSKY. It's a can of Pepsi, probably about a can's worth of whiskey as well. I did say originally to Caedo it was like 60% Pepsi, 40% whiskey. It's now more like 60% whiskey, 40% Pepsi. And I'm going to be topping it up at some point. It's very, very good. Like, it wasn't when I first drank it, but now it's very, very good.
I'm glad it's finally reached that point. I'm having some Bad Granny hard cider. This is the Nice Pear flavor, which is just a whole bunch of euphemisms on a can. Not a sponsor, by the way, but we just had the vibe of doing something a little different this time. So we have a comment of the cast. Each PIPcast that we do, we choose a comment from the last episode. Our last episode had to do with... Do you remember what it had to do with, Sarge?
No.
I'm just checking. I'm quizzing you, and I shouldn't be quizzing you.
I have no idea. I can't remember the last episode.
All right. Well, we were talking about fan theories in the Fallout series, and I remember you took the most fun one, which was...
Oh,
whether the...
simulation. Yeah, I remember now, because everyone sucks. Okay, I remember. Yep.
So we had a comment from Bootleg Batman, who said his theory is every Fallout is a simulation. Whoa.
You're not doing a bad Batman voice. As I think...
Do you want to do
I
it?
think the name dictates a bad Batman voice must happen. I don't know if I can do one, to be fair. I just expected you to do one.
I could give it a try.
Go for it.
Give it a try. As Bootleg Batman, I'll read the comment. My theory: every Fallout is a simulation. The player is an employee of some company that plays the simulation to study how people would live in a post-apocalypse. Once the player reloads a save, once the game is over, once the player is done playing, the simulation resets. What is my evidence, you may ask? Because I said so.
Because I'm Batman.
Because I'm Bootleg Batman.
Much better.
Was that good enough?
Oh yeah, I think that was like just the perfect amount of bad to suit Bootleg Batman. Like, I feel like if you'd actually done a really good Batman impression, I would have been disappointed.
I'm Batman. All right, I'm done with that. Let's get into the news. And if you want to be a comment of the cast and be read in a horrible voice, feel free to join in on the conversation on when we get to our Fallout topic. But yeah, first news, we have the Xbox Bethesda games, quote, first or better or best, which is when probed for more questions, representatives of Microsoft were answering once again what the deal was with exclusivity and using just a menagerie of words to avoid answering the question.
Yeah.
But kind of given the vibe that there's going to be exclusives without saying there's going to be exclusives.
We already know it's like a case-by-case basis.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot of, like, just, oh, this game is on that one, this game is on that one, But as an Xbox person, you're not going to go, well, it's probably going to be as good on any other console, so don't worry about it. So obviously they're saying, well, it'll either be exclusive or it will be better on our console than on other platforms.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. What do you expect a person from Xbox to say?
It's like
no, buy a PlayStation 5. Our console sucks. We're gonna make their games terrible.
It's like they're flipping a coin, but both sides are heads.
Yeah.
Like. And for anybody who's been living under a rock, this is referring to the Bethesda acquisition that Microsoft did.
Yeah. They bought ZeniMax for for
Yeah.
$7.5 billion, I think it was, which is like, I think someone pointed out it's like that's about how many people are on the world. So it's like $1 per person kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it was Colby House when I was watching his podcast. He's another Bethesda YouTuber. He was talking about when he had been working with various like large corporate companies, that 7.5 billion is actually not that much in the grand scheme of things, which blows my mind still.
Still a pretty penny.
It's a lot of money to anybody else who doesn't own a $1 million+ company, or billion plus, whichever. Yeah. But yeah, that's really all there was. It was another interview at what was the name of the event?
It was the Jeffries Interactive Entertainment Virtual Conference.
Yes.
Good old Jeffrey.
And transcribed by Seeking Alpha. Thank you, Seeking Alpha.
Yeah. Did they man, whenever I see like transcribed by, I think it's going to be like the proper full-on transcriptions with like the pauses in seconds and all of that kind of stuff, but nobody does that. Like I learn how to do that, and I've never seen it since learning it. It sucks.
Yeah.
I want to know how long a pause for is between every single word, game or writers. Come on.
Come on, writers, get with it.
Yeah, and if you don't
transcribe faster.
Yeah, if you don't, I'm gonna pistol whip you, and steal your console.
Yeah. Oh man. Nice segue. What are we talking about?
Okay, so in the Daily Voice, Pelham Daily Voice. Look at that. There might be someone who knows the thing. You got an American audience.
Right.
A 27-year-old man who used an online app to sell a PlayStation 5 was pistol-whipped and robbed at gunpoint by his would-be buyer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, was there any confirmation in the article that he was a scalper? And was just selling the console? Or was he trying to just get more money out of the console? Or was it he's selling it at cost?
I believe, like, there's not too much information, but it sounds like he was probably trying to scalp it. This was from the, American dates, the 17th as well. And it's a PS5. When did the PlayStation 5 go on sale in America? Because
I don't even know.
Yeah, the dates were weird, but it was definitely like a very quick turnaround. It's unlikely he bought it and then was like, oh man, I don't want this, I'm gonna just sell it. Like, it was probably a scalper. There's been tons of them recently, and it's like, it's unlikely you're going to be able to buy a PlayStation or Xbox this year if you haven't already got one, unless it's from, like, a scalper who marks up, like, 2 to 3 times the price.
Yeah.
But...
And there's no way I'm purchasing one at that price.
Nope. But, yeah,
I'm focused on a new computer.
Yeah. This person, who was attempting to sell one, just got mugged for it. Like, for the record, like, all fine afterwards, like, not the worst way this could have gone, but yeah, a bit crazy. And, I mean, imagine, on top of that, if a person robbing them, if they got one of the consoles which has had problems. There's been reports of, like, several different problems. The smoke from the top of the Xbox One was, or Xbox Series X, stupid naming convention, was, like, debunked. It's like people vaping into their Xboxes.
Oh.
Did you not know that?
So I didn't look into it much. I figured it was something along those lines of people like stress testing it and then like saying they found proof that there's an issue with them.
No,
because people do that.
Yeah, a lot of people have just been like blowing vape clouds into the top of the Xbox, and then it like it goes up in a really nice aesthetic looking smoke trail that lasts for quite a while. But I think Xbox, like, someone gave an official statement of, like, yeah, don't do that.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Don't breathe vapor into your electronics. Adur.
But there have been like some actual issues. I know like disk drives just not working properly. I think for both consoles there have been like crashes and stuff. There's clearly going to be like a lot of patches needed and a fair few returns.
Okay.
So yeah, there's been a bit of chaos with the whole console things. Like, the fact that so many of them are breaking and they're still like completely sold out and so desired kind of just shows how big gaming is as an industry now. Like, you can literally sell a product which may well be completely broken, and people will still, like, go hard to try and get it.
Yep. That's for sure. And you also have certain companies that create an artificial scarcity.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Nintendo.
Oh.
Called out. Okay. When we talk about the, which one was it? The NES Classic or something like that?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they even did it with some Switch related stuff too. But like when you control the market, you can do that. You can create like that kind of rush order buyout situation, which is gross. And all the scalpers come out of the woodwork, of course. Yeah. Anyway, there's something else happening among some woodwork in a game in early access called Grounded.
Yep.
I've still been keeping an eye on it. I got to play it a little bit. I mean, Sarge, you played the demo.
Yeah.
I played it a little bit after the demo, after a couple of updates, and it's an all right survival game so far.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. By a smaller team at Obsidian, and they recently just did their or released their Koi Pond update, which adds more stuff to the koi pond that is also in the backyard. There's things to discover down there. There's now like swimming mechanics as well as ways to stay underwater. Other creatures under the water, including swimming spiders, which I'm sure everybody is excited for.
Yeah.
And a giant koi fish that will just eat you. Yeah. Hence the name Koi Pond.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm not excited yet to jump in again. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. I have a feeling it's going to stay on Game Pass pretty much indefinitely.
Oh yeah.
If not, it'll rotate back around and then probably be more complete.
I mean,
by the time I jump back in.
I don't see a reason for them getting rid of it on Game Pass.
No. I think it's a good way to do it, especially if that's how their freaking multiplayer functions anyway, which was infuriating when I first tried it. So if you do have Game Pass, I'm recommending that you at least like give Grounded a try if you like survival games, because it's a fun little concept.
Side note, I've just noticed, Caedo, you have more subscribers than Obsidian Entertainment.
Do I?
Yeah, they've got 103,000 subscribers, and I think you're at like 110, 120 odd.
Wow.
Yeah. You probably got more views than them as well. This is official. Caedo is more famous than Obsidian. Like...
on YouTube, I guess.
No. In everything.
I don't know, man. Like, it seems like my subscribers don't realize I exist until I upload something on New Vegas.
Yep. I mean, isn't that just the same for Obsidian anyway?
Oh, wow. Sick burn. I set that up and you knocked it down. Good job.
Grounded remains a decent-looking survival game, but unless you're into the gimmick, I don't think anyone's going to be excited outside of that.
Yeah. I like it because it's also cooperative. Like, it's from the ground up cooperative, which not many survival games are.
I mean, pretty much everyone I've played is.
Well, like which ones? Because like most I've played are like heavy PvP.
Oh,
whereas
okay.
Grounded is not.
I thought you meant something different. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, I never engage in like PvP in the survival mode games I have played.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like Conan Exiles, like you have the option of going to a PvE server, where you still have the ability to like just raid bases. but you can't engage in open PvP with other players, which is okay. But you can also troll some people pretty hard if you have explosives. So there is that. Anyway, I hope you're not done with your sick burns, Sarge, because there was an article that moderator Dakoba reminded me about, the worst strategy guide ever made. And listeners will never guess what game it's for.
The best game ever.
I don't think they will. The best game ever.
Yep. A game we all love and agree we should live our lives by. So, greatest game of all time, Final Fantasy IX, apparently has a terrible strategy guide made by... Wait, was it actually made by Play Online? Like, or do they have, like, some other name for their thing?
This was a Brady Games strategy guide.
Okay.
With Play Online integration.
Integration. Basically meaning... So this strategy guide gives you, like, a brief rundown of, like, here's this location. If you want any of the actual information about it, go to playonline.com.
And use this keyword.
Yep. And that is it for basically every single thing. And Final Fantasy IX does a decent good job, like, tutorializing the game. It's far from the most difficult of the Final Fantasies to get into.
Yeah.
Like, if you're into, like, the older Final Fantasies, it's a really good one to start with as well. Like, it's simple to get on with. There are, like, some in-depth stuff kicking about, like, if you want to get, like, the Hawaiian outfits and things, that, like, requires some work. But there's, like, lots of little intricate things. Strategy Guide doesn't have them, of course, because we're all on playonline.com. Oh, man.
Yep.
It's
so
bad.
If you're not willing to click on this, by the way, we should, like, describe what is on the page.
Yeah.
So we have probably a quarter of the page is Play Online links.
Yep.
And all of that extra space that would be taken up by actual strategy guide content throughout the entirety of the strategy guide. These are added, these little blips for Play Online are added for pretty much every entry, at least from what they're showing in the article, which is outrageous.
Yep.
So it's like, well, you know how we all hate, like, mid-roll ads, which there's probably some in this podcast. Imagine that, but every paragraph.
I'd say on
Like-
top of that, imagine if a mid-roll ad played over the video so you lose out the information that the mid-roll ad takes up. Because this strategy guide is missing information. Like, straight up.
It's intentionally... Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's intentionally missing information, so you have to go to Play Online to get
Yep.
the rest of that information.
There's, like, a really big one here, which is Excalibur 2 is, like, an iconic weapon in Final Fantasy IX. The thing in the actual, in the actual guide is... You can even get the Excalibur 2, but this secret will take every ounce of your gaming skills. You will need to finish the game within a certain time limit, so good luck. How fast must you complete the game to get this weapon? Only Play Online has the answer.
Yeah.
First up, that's technically wrong. Second up, they're not giving you the information.
No.
Like, you get it. You have to beat, like, Lich kind of in Dis 4 in order to get the Excalibur 2 because it's off the right of fighting him. Which isn't even beating the entire game. There's still, like, 4 or 5 boss fights after that. It's just on the final area. You can get it if you beat Lich that time around in Memoria within 12 hours. That's how you do it.
Yep.
I've explained the entire thing to you there. They couldn't put that in the guide.
No. They had to make it a hook to go to... Like, it's egregious. It's an egregious amount of promotion.
It is terrible. It is so
in every
bad.
sense. And I'm sorry they did your game like that, Sarge.
They did. We briefly mentioned this before the podcast. I have the Final Fantasy VIII official strategy guide in my hand right now. It is amazing. It's very well done. Gives you a breakdown of, like, all enemy stats. Gives you the entire walkthrough of the game, all of the secrets and stuff. It's a brilliant piece of work. So the fact that Final Fantasy IX had this monstrosity built for it does make me sad.
I am also curious if there was multiple kind of like, well, Final Fantasy VII, if there was multiple strategy guides out for Final Fantasy IX that you could like get instead.
I imagine there must have been other ones. Like, the one I've got is Piggyback Squaresoft Authorized Collection Final Fantasy VIII Official Strategy Guide. Like, it's a very official one. This one is garbage, and I hope no one bought it and their company went out of business.
The play online thing, I'm pretty sure it did.
Yep.
I'm pretty certain it actually did. Because, yeah, like, this thing at the time, too, was a $20 strategy guide that wasn't giving you the actual strategies. It was telling you to go somewhere else to get...
Man, it's like $20 to just...
And that's so many levels of infuriating. I just like imagining like if I was doing a guide on specific things like the dirty magazines in Fallout 2. And then I got like 2 in and I was like, "Oh, you to learn about this location though, you have to go into this other video where I talk about this location."
Dude, I made a video like telling people how to get the backpack in Fallout 76. Like, constantly, the most commented thing I see on that video is people, like, telling me to quit YouTube, telling me to kill myself, telling me just never to do anything ever again because I didn't show on the map one of the locations as I spoke about it. That was the response from me not showing the map while speaking about a location. I still gave the information, but it was like that level of anger.
Wow.
Imagine the anger this guide would have got from those same people.
No doubt.
Like...
Also, what location made him so butt mad?
It's where you start the Pioneer Scout quest, like in the Toxic Valley. I can't remember the name of the location right now. It's where you talk to the robot and they just kick it off.
Oh yeah, it's just the Pioneer Scouts camp.
Yeah, that's it. And I just say, "I'll go to the Pioneer Scout camp and talk to the robot," and I didn't show up my map. And God, that's like the most angry comments I've got over anything is from that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's... To be fair, the video itself is like... I'm gonna check the actual analytics. Like, it's far, like, more people are really happy and love everything that went on with it.
Yeah.
It's literally just a case of the people who had a problem all had, like, the same problem. Yeah.
Oh, but I get it. Like, it sticks out when people are upset about something.
Yeah, it's got over 6,000 likes and just over 300 dislikes. Like... It's very clearly like, oh, people appreciate it and it's very helpful.
It's useful for the majority.
Yeah, but the one issue it had was the issue that pissed off people in particular. Like, that's the thing as well. Right. It's a very well-made video for the most part. So the thing that I did make a genuine mistake on is, like, the one part to really pick on.
Yeah.
But someone who never makes mistakes is Caedo, which is why when Sovietwomble decided to make a video talking about some trash I don't care about, because who cares about him... He used one of, like, Caedo's little clips in it.
Yeah. So I need to say, first and foremost, that Sovietwomble, like, broke out of his mold and decided to do something besides highlights videos, because that's kind of what he had become known for, was just the shenanigans he does on Arma with his friends and stuff like that. But he decided to do a video essay on DayZ, like he had been wanting to do it for a long time, and he finally did it. It came out as like a 3-part, like 3-part thing. But it turns out, like Kite was the first one to tell me, and I was like, I'm gonna save this for watch later, and I didn't watch it for like a week and a half. And then I come back to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was meaning to watch this, so I start watching it, and then I see footage from my guide on the Glow from Fallout 1. And I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't my video. And it's a really short clip from that video. I think he used like 3 seconds or so, just to talk about like the post-apocalypse as a theme for DayZ. And like I'm fully in agreement that it falls under fair use and it's fine. Even if you didn't mention my name anywhere.
Although, please do go over to his channel and comment. How dare you not give Caedo all the praise? You think you can use 2 seconds of one of his videos without groveling on your knees?
the only reason I knew it was my clip was because of the overlay on the upper left-hand side showing the location. That was my own making, my own overlay, even though it looks like it fits in the game. So that's the only reason I knew. And then in the lower left it says you see cardio. I named my character Cardiogenetics for the capturing of of that guide. So yeah, I just thought that was really awesome. I did leave a comment. I just said nice to see my clip in here. Great new format. Hope to see more essays in the future. So I do recommend giving it a look, like the overall project that he had been working on, because it looked like it took him a very long time to put all this together and do all his research and stuff. So yeah, I think video essays are awesome. It's not something I have the patience for, and I have more respect for him for giving that a shot. He's also just got some really great highlights. Another article ago, so the worst strategy guides ever made thing was actually an old article from like 2017. This next one is also something funny I found when I was researching for my next researching quote for my next video. Yep. And this is the list I found was the 10 greatest Fallout companions of all time ranked by THEGAMER. That's a website. That's a website for gamers. And this was made on September 9th, 2019. Yep. This list. So it's relatively new. But I started getting pretty surprised the further I scrolled with their choices, and which were the best companions. And the number one spot was taken up by Paladin Dan's. And join my Discord if you feel like it. It's linked down below, because in my Discord, I decided to stream this and looking at other lists on the Gamer because I was enthralled after I had seen this one. Let me read the Paladin Dan's number one entry. Paladin Dan's might have a very tough-looking exterior that could put off many players from using him as their main companion within Fallout 4. But once you break away that outer shell, you unveil what is arguably the best companion storyline in Fallout history. As the commander of the Brotherhood of Steel, Paladin is incredible in a combat situation, being both in close and long-distance combat, which makes him incredibly beneficial to strolling around the Commonwealth with. However, it is his fantastic backstory and huge twist that makes him incredibly interesting and worth investing a lot of time into. If you haven't spent plenty of time with Paladin, he is certainly worth going back and helping.
I love Paladin. He's great.
Paladin's a great character. Yeah. So, while I was reading through these and just going through ridiculous lists that this...
Boone is an ex-New Californian Republic first reconned. Why'd I throw it in there?
First reckoned.
Reckoned.
Yeah, so there's a lot of misinformation on these lists, and I was still trying to figure out what the actual case was for them doing their research. Are they remembering when they played Fallout 4 5 years ago when it came out, or were they trying to recall what they had seen on a wiki or someone else's article?
Gotta be a wiki.
Because it's really hard to tell.
This reads like someone who's been told what happens in the games, but has not ever been anywhere near them.
Yeah, I wonder if Dan's first name is even put in the game.
No idea.
We could probably rule out the wiki if his first name is actually there.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised
no?
if it... I mean, honestly, when I first saw this, my biggest problem was just that Dogmeat isn't at number 1. Like, Dogmeat's at number 6, which is unacceptable.
Dogmeat's going to be in my worst list.
Rex is at number 3, and Caedo...
We're going to start internet beef.
Caedo, we can't be friends anymore. I'm sorry. It's been a good run. Screw the last few years.
Well, if you could do that, like please rage tweet and link my video.
I will.
When it comes out.
I'll tell everyone to head over there.
Tell me how wrong I am.
Dislike button twice to show them that they mean it. Dogmeat is the best way. Lone Wanderer Come on. Fallout 4, Lone Wanderer perk is the best in the game. Having Dogmeat gives you basically a free companion without sacrificing that perk. Plus, he's a good boy. Like, I accept...
He's an alright boy.
I can accept Rex as being number 1 in people's list, because Rex is also a good boy. And I see Rex to Dogmeat, that's just personal preference. I prefer Dogmeat, you can prefer Rex, no beef there. If you choose a human above a dog, you don't know anything. And I can never respect your opinion ever again.
What if I choose a synth? Or former robot?
Oh, robots are good. Like,
okay,
that's at the disagree, but will not sneak into your house and smother you in your sleep level of.
That's called agree to disagree, Sarge.
Oh, never heard that before. It's either I am right or you are dead.
Yeah, that's because I go with Curie as my number 1 for best.
Curie still in
she's adorable.
Still in robot body, so you can give her miniguns.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, maybe. All those upgrades get wasted when she switches bodies. So
yeah, so you don't switch her bodies.
But I need closure on her story.
No, you don't. She's a badass robot. That's more closure than anyone ever needs.
I also want to mention in this list that we linked, I so strongly recommend, if you want some hilarious reading, by the way, go to THEGAMER and look at their lists. But when they put Ian in their 8th slot, it's actually a Fallout New Vegas mod, I guess, or player character with.
No, it's a mod because it's got Ian Mayer saying, "What can I do for you?"
Yeah, because he's talking, but Ian's a Fallout 1 character.
Yeah,
companion. So, yeah, it's funny. I don't know where they got their screenshots.
I personally don't think Ian's actually great either. It's from YouTube. Like, they've just been going for videos. Like, number 9 is, like, a guide someone's made on Nick Valentine, clearly. The Rex one, I'm pretty sure, is an Oxon thumbnail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
like,
great.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that in recommended tons of times. I've never actually clicked on an Oxon video, but they're always in my recommended. YouTube's like, sometimes YouTube is really bad with what it recommends me. It's just like,
so, well, how much Fallout lore do you want? Because he's got all of it.
And I'm like, well, I don't watch any Fallout lore videos, so why do you keep recommending? It's been like 10 years, YouTube. Come on, you can stop now.
But at this point, you have to keep telling YouTube to stop.
Yeah. My recommended are good, actually. I was watching like famous YouTubers take the mick out of one of my mates before the podcast because it came up in recommended. It's brilliant stuff.
Okay, well, over the last, I'm pretty sure N7 Day is just November 7th, right?
I mean, that would make sense.
I'm not messing that up, am I? Which is also known as like Mass Effect Day, and the cast of Mass Effect had a reunion, an online one, obviously, because of pandemic and all that.
Yep.
But it was a live stream event that they did, so we linked that in the description. I didn't see too much, but it had a lot of familiar faces and voices. I'm sure you'll get nostalgic if you are a Mass Effect fan at all. And they also, towards the end, I didn't get to that part yet, but towards the end they did some script reading also, you know, like voice actors do.
Yeah.
Just lots of fan service in one big show.
It's 2.5 hours of fan service. If you're a Mass Effect fan, you got something there to watch for an afternoon.
Yes. Highly recommend. I myself have been watching a lot of Day 9's Mostly Walking series, which has been so entertaining. It's Day 9 and a couple of dudes who had live streamed, but are also uploading these as episodes of them playing point-and-click adventure games. Some of them great, most of them, not so great. Especially by today's standards. So, it's real entertaining. Watching how many ways someone can die in an adventure game is always fun.
Something else Caedo put on the podcast notes is the next article we're going to talk about. Just click that and just edit it into every single segue from now on.
So I'll just...
even if there's like an episode where I'm not here, just throw in that.
Just if I'm doing like a solo thing,
Yeah.
just be like, Caedo said this too.
Even better if neither of us are in the podcast somehow.
Oh my
Just
god.
like completely different people.
That would be so amazing. Who would do that? Oh, Jared's got a podcast.
Yeah.
I'll send him the clips. Just have you show up for like half a second, just to help them get to the next topic. Oh, it'd be so great. The last article is related to a massive Capcom leak that happened. Also, customer data in the U.S. has potentially been compromised.
Yeah, which isn't that's the subheader for this.
Yeah, that's the subheader. So if you have anything Capcom related with an account, you might want to switch up your password.
But more important, video games keep being made.
Yeah, that's more important.
Yep, who could have guessed?
There was a lot of details on Resident Evil, the next Resident Evil game, as well as what's going to be happening with Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2, which were recently announced to be on the Switch, but not anything else. So what I was most excited about, and you can go down through and see which things were leaked, was that I'm a Monster Hunter fan. I was looking forward to getting a chance to play Monster Hunter Rise, but only one of us in my household has a Switch. And Monster Hunter games are a lot more fun when you're playing them co-op. And if you only have one Switch, obviously you won't really be able to play it co-op.
Each take one Joy-Con.
Just one Joy-Con, control the same character. Boom.
I've played single-player games multiplayer before. The start of my YouTube career, I had sensory deprivation gaming. That was co-oping single-player games.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blindfolded.
How'd that go?
Other person can hear and see what's going on. They tell you what to do. It's great.
Oh, weird.
Fallout 4, I went to like the Deathclaw in the building Museum of Witchcraft with a mate of mine. It's a classic video that none of you will ever see. So enjoy.
Oh, is it unlisted?
No, it's still on my channel. It's just really difficult to find.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna probably endeavor to find it now.
Good luck.
So anyway, the leak included a mention of releases on PC for Monster Hunter games, and I kind of figured as much, like a much later release on PC, but that's what happened with Monster Hunter World. Capcom already knows the market that they have in PC. Like Devil May Cry 5 came out on PC as a launch title, so I think they know at this point that PC is viable and worth porting to for money, because Capcom likes money. So it was just a matter of time. But that's mainly the thing I was excited for. If there's something you were looking forward to when it comes to Capcom properties, I mean, obviously Resident Evil the Village thing, or Resident Evil Village, they have mention of that in there too. So linked below if you're interested in what all happened with the leak via PC Gamer. We're PC gamers.
Yeah.
Aren't we, Sarge?
We are.
Is there anything we like to do while playing games?
Complain, leave angry comments, tell developers they're garbage because they didn't implement the one feature that we wanted, despite the rest of the game actually being quite good.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, that's our show, everybody.
Oh, wait, was that a segue?
Yeah, it was.
What? Okay, tell me what you thought my response would be that would get us to the Fallout topic.
Well, I was gonna say, like, listening to music while playing a Fallout game on a PC. Yeah.
I don't do that.
Kind of what I was going for.
Does anyone do that? No one does that, Caedo. No one does that. You're weird.
All right.
You're weird. You're weird and should feel ashamed of everything you do.
I'm not ashamed, but thank you.
No, you should. You should. You do something differently, Caedo, and therefore it's wrong.
Oh, wait. Now I feel shame.
It's more like it.
Oh, it's gone.
Ah.
And tell me what your thought process was for the topic, because I still need some guidelines.
Crud, crud. I forgot I'm supposed to be leading this part. Hey everyone, welcome to the silky smooth airwaves of Sarge Radio. That was about as far as I got in the thought process. No, okay. So the Fallout games, like the modern ones at least, and the ones we're familiar with, have radios in them. We can listen to like lots of old school kind of music, like the ink spots and whatever, all of that good stuff. That's all good. However, like Fallout 10, every single song from like the 50s or whatever is gonna be used already. So I feel like they should jump on it early and do something a bit different with the radio. And the big thing, which I'm going to jump in straight away instead of like my endpoint to dominate the conversation, is that they should have a Wastelander radio, where something we're already used to is like a personality doing the DJing, but the songs should be from Wastelanders in the current time who have been able to submit their songs. So that way, you don't just have to have, like, the old 50s, like, maybe, and I want to set the world on fire and Big Iron and all of that stuff. You can have something different, because a Wastelander radio gives so much more opportunities. Like, I actually brought up this topic, like, 8 hours before TKS Mantis released a teaser of him singing a bunch of Fallout songs. Which is like, oh, I guess we're both on the same wavelength here. Because I was thinking, like, you can have, like, Fallout fans and stuff potentially submit songs that could go on there, and then it can be, like, a really cool community thing, which is awesome. You can also have, like, funny bits. Like, I imagine a super mutant who decides to make a song where it just be them, like, smashing stuff and going, noise, 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 noise. And the DJ has to play it, or else the super mutant's just going to tear them apart, so they play it and, like, pretend to be excited whilst also being terrified. Like, you can have funny stuff like that in there. I'm gonna DJ it, Bethesda give me money, and it could just be a really cool thing.
That would be cool. Yeah, see, I didn't know what direction you were going with this, and now I'm kind of thinking about different things that could be done, or examples of things that have already been done that are kind of along that same vein, like Black Mountain Radio.
Yeah, think about it, Caedo. I've heard some of the songs you're interested in. They're not the stuff that you typically hear on the radio, but it is so easy to, like, make a kind of weird, rocky song Fallout themed. Like, you could listen to Band and it could be in the Fallout radio. How cool would that be?
That would be cool. I would also just like to see future implementation, and other games have done this, even like indie games, probably mostly indie games. Dangerous Driving has the ability to just sync up with, I think, your Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
And just play your Spotify while you're playing the game.
See, that works really well in, like, driving games and stuff, because it's just like having the radio on. But I feel like in a Fallout game, if I'm listening to, like, Nico B in a Fallout game, that's going to totally bring me out of the immersion, which we love. Like, when there's Mary Berry references as I'm shooting my alerts, it's weird. Like, fair enough if I'm listening to them on separate things, that's all good. But if, like, Milton Keynes is brought up, and GTA 6 and all of that stuff during, like, an epic Fallout battle, that's just wrong. So I'm actually against throwing Spotify in there. I'm fine with it as a mod, like an unofficial mod thing, because fair enough, then that's just players deciding, yeah, we're going to do that. But if it was, like, officially implemented, I would not be a fan.
Okay.
I think you've got to properly curate it. Like, there's still got to be, like, Fallout theme to it. Or else you may as well just make everyone dress up as, like, Doom unicorns or whatever.
I mean, after I had said that, I was also kind of thinking of the same thing.
Yeah.
So you have one particular example that stands out is during the time of Fallout happening is Magnolia in Fallout 4. She has music that is made, in that time.
Yep.
In Good Neighbor, and it was composed for the game.
Yeah.
Which should be done more, I think.
We already do have this stuff. I mean, Caedo, you've personally had experience with Fallout-based songs in various capacities.
Yes.
You've obviously done the music video for, like, Wazer Rifle and stuff. Plus, you did Brew Delicious, which, although kind of very much a comedy video more than a music thing, is still, like, the kind of thing that you could throw onto a Wastelanders radio.
That was an homage to, like, Tunnel Snake's Rule, though. Like,
yeah.
There's no way that they actually fit in the game. It's just more.
You can still have, like, some funny stuff in there, though. Like, there's definitely ways to justify it. And I feel like a post-apocalyptic band obviously isn't up to the same standard as, like, most modern pop music or whatever, so you can throw in weird stuff. Like I mentioned the Super Mutant idea, which is gold. Bethesda, why paying me, cheapskates? There's other stuff like that you can do. You can have, like, kind of bad music or music that starts off good then kind of goes crazy. You can have like gunfights in the background, people screaming or whatever. You don't have
I'll
to
be more
make it, like, yeah.
More honestly, I'm more into radio shows than I would be in music.
Oh, you could literally go on to that Mitchell and Webb look and throw in their Remain Indoors radio show, or as a radio show. You could literally do that. That would work perfectly.
And you have, in Fallout 3, you had the licensed music that would play, like, maybe in Civilization, whatever, I don't want to set the world on fire, whatever.
Yep.
But you also had the adventures of Herbert Dashwood and his ghoul manservant Argyle. and those were entertaining, at least the first couple times I heard them.
Yeah.
There's a problem with density and the amount of time people spend on these games.
Yeah. I do think that makes it very important to have, like, as many things as possible. Which is why, once again, I think, like, having there potentially be, like, a way for the community to get involved with that would be good.
Yeah.
Because from a business standpoint as well, it can be like, well, these people just gave us this stuff, so we're not having to pay them, which for the company is great. And for the fans, it's like, hey, I managed to get my band into a Fallout game. How cool is that? Like,
yeah,
there's some cool stuff going on there.
I hate to say it, but that could be a Creation Club opportunity too.
Oh, I want it actually in the game. Like, I'm not a fan of a Creation Club in general.
Yeah.
But, no, I don't. Get rid of the Creation Club. I'm sorry, Bethesda. Get rid of it. I'm all for modders being paid for their work, but I don't like the weird murky ground Creation Club has as, is it canon? Is it not canon? Is some of it canon? I don't like any of that.
I mean, at this point, it's not, really.
It's not, but some of the stuff they're going to have and be like, oh yeah, this actually happened. Like, the wikis are already including Creation Club stuff. It's bled over too much. There needs to be a clear divide against it. Like, God, I don't like it. Bad.
Okay.
Caedo.
Oops.
Yeah. If you don't mind, could you please come up with a song to go on Fallout radio music right now?
Ha! Done. Publish it.
I would like to turn back my idea. I apologize. I'm sorry, Bethesda. You just carry on doing whatever. I was wrong.
You didn't know what you were asking, but now
Apparently
you do.
I did not. No. I do think there's a lot of potential. If people have, like, ideas, like, I came up with, like, a chorus of a song when I was thinking about it. Like, I was like, oh, it's really easy to get, like, references to Fallout stuff in there. Like, I feel like there's definitely a lot of potential to go with that. So if anyone has any ideas to kind of add on to this topic, like, even if it's like, I'd love to see this band in there or do something, or there's this song which could work pretty well, let us know in the comment.
Yeah. Oh, also mentioning, Magnolia is voice acted by Linda Carter, but Linda Carter also wrote the songs.
Oh,
and performed
I didn't know that. I knew she performed them, I didn't realise she wrote them. That's cool.
Yep, so that's definitely something worth noting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has 5 songs that she performs. Called Baby It's You, Good Neighbor, I'm the One You're Looking For, Man Enough, and Train.
That's good. I'm thinking about it now, like, songs from video games which are, like, original with words in. And there's a lot of good ones. And there really are. This is a good thing. Good thing for everyone. Good thing for everyone. Pay me, Bethesda. This is good.
Yes. Pay Sarge.
Yep. I don't want to be employed by you. I just want you to throw money at me for ideas. That's all.
Make me the shill everybody thinks I am.
Yes. Please.
I just want to be a bajillion YouTuber. By the way, if I can can I get into the analytical bullcrap?
Yeah,
real
go
quick?
for it.
I was talking to Mantis a little bit after I looked at my analytics a little bit. We're talking about my channel's health or lack thereof right now, and notifications was way at the bottom.
Yeah.
Is that normal for you too?
I'm going to double check mine. I know mine isn't terrible, but it's still not good.
Okay.
Mine's also changed recently because I've been on break. I've finally gone into the negatives. Like, I was even for ages. Wait, which one's it on?
I mean, that's good, right?
Yeah, I had like a weird bump up on... I'm still having it on Shadow of War content for some reason.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that suddenly got popular.
That's so obscure.
Yep. So that, like... Just gave me a random pop-up for no reason.
Okay.
And my most recent video did well. Wait, what one is it on? Like,
it's under traffic source. If you go to your specific, go to reach and then go down to
traffic source.
And then go to see more on it.
Well, okay, I was about to say it's not on there at all. That's really bad. Okay, notifications 0.9% of views.
Wow.
What's yours?
So it's low for everybody, basically.
Oh yeah. Well, I think the search. It's worth keeping in mind, Caedo. You make guides as your main thing as well.
I know.
YouTube search should be like. I'm guessing it's between 50 and 60% for you.
It's lower.
Oh, what's it at?
But on search, I'm 22% for views.
Wow, I'm 39.3%.
Dang.
How is my
something's wrong, dude?
Okay. I'm gonna have to go through your SEO. Although impression click-through rate on search for me is 10%, which is like the videos I'm making. I'm clearly actually titling them, thumbnailing them well for when people search them.
Wow. Yeah, I'm at 4.7%.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to look at your titles and thumbnails, man. See what I'm doing. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing? This is weird. That's like a really high click-through rate.
That's pretty odd, yeah.
That's like double my standard click-through rate. What is going on? You know what? It might be worth doing. Redoing some thumbnails.
Which ones come to mind?
Well, I'd start with most popular.
I'd already done that with some of the Skyrim ones, like a while ago.
I'd say try and get like more clarity on them. Like your Fallout 4 all unique apparel and armor, the colors. There's a lot of contrast between the green, the yellow, and like the mauve background, which is good because it stands out. But Fallout 3 all unique armor and apparel guide, you've got a green background on a green text.
Green on green, yeah. I know. That's before I started actually getting good at making thumbnails, but I decided to practice on that. If I were to do it again, I would likely change the background, but
I feel like you could potentially get rid of the game names as well, especially as you've got them at the start of each title. And then that gives you more space to kind of make everything else bigger so it stands out more. Like, in general, the less text you've got on there, the more succinct you can put it, the better.
You think?
Yeah. Or you can do what you've done with the modern ones and put on the logo.
I mean, that's what I would do this time, I think.
Then it's quicker recognition for people. They're not having to read it, they just associate that image with the game straight up.
Yeah. But I know for a fact, like, all the New Vegas ones, like, those are thumbnails that I made when I made those guides, which was 2014, 2015.
Oh, yeah.
So...
like... I'm gonna go look at, like, my oldest videos now. I've still got some terrible thumbnails. Yeah, my very first, like, video that's public on my channel has, like, the top part of the text cut off.
I was so happy with the the Dead Money one too.
Which one's that?
But even in the guides themselves, like, I'm using such a garish font for the text, or for all the information for the item that I'm displaying.
Yeah.
It's not good. But that's getting overly critical on something that already works fine.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'd say if your click-through rate isn't, like, hugely high on them as well, like, at that point, the content of the video isn't what's letting you down. If you fancy, after the podcast as well, I'm more than happy to spend hours upon hours just going through analytics and stuff.
Well, I was going to suggest something a little more entertaining, like watching The Boys.
Screw that. Analytics. I want to use my galaxy brain. I'm the smartest man in the world.
Alright, so after discussing analytics, we determined some other problems there are with my channel and how things are being discovered. What else is new? But we also need to talk about what we're doing. I want to know what you in the comments, if you're listening still, are doing. Playing, reading, watching, doing. Like, you know, if you're making stuff, tell us what kind of stuff you're making. Ours is probably going to be pretty basic. I've had some on the verge of angering moments with the things that I've been doing and playing and watching. So let me start with the thing that I've been enjoying playing, and that's Monster Hunter World. They have the Winterfest and Joyfest going on right now, because it is winter time. So I've been playing that with roommate Kite and bro Nelsar. And I also gave Assassin's Creed Valhalla a try. Probably about 0 minutes of playtime. 0 minutes. Turns out the game just didn't want to get to the front menu, so I launched it over and over and over until I got fed up and then asked for a refund.
What I find especially funny about this is Caedo was being very nice and was like, "Hey, Sarge, what if someone bought you Assassin's Creed Valhalla?" Which I'm guessing was before you tried booting up the game yourself.
That is before I tried booting it up on my machine, but I realized that everybody's machine is different, and it may just be a special case for me.
It may be, but I found that especially funny.
But it's also too early to find decent troubleshooting instructions. Yeah. So I was just like, I just want to play a freaking game, man. Like, that's all I want to do. A new game of some kind.
But it's fine, because you got to play Godfall as a new game.
Yes, I did play Godfall, and it's probably one of the most cookie-cutter games I've ever played. It didn't give me the same disappointment as Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It gave me a different kind. So I paid full price for Godfall. I got like the second, whatever the second version was that had the Zero Sword and some other bullcrap that came along with it. So this is a Gearbox published game that is marketed as a looter slasher, cooperative, up to 3 players. And it's very clearly designed for cooperative play in some ways. Some of the bosses are designed to be attacked or fending off multiple players at once. So if you're fighting them as one player, you're actually going to have a much harder time.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you can tell that things aren't entirely balanced for either single player or cooperative play. They're just kind of in a weird middle space where you're just like, oh, this boss just lasers across the field and sets a lot of it on fire all the time. You're just going to have to deal with it. So there's that. There's also like the art direction. I love the art direction. I want to give this game props where it deserves it. Like the art direction and the design of the environments and a lot of the enemies are amazing. Some of the animations are great. The combat is like its strongest. There's not that many. Is its strongest feature. But there's some very clear corner cutting that happened, and just general cookie cutter things about this game that's just like they needed to make a launch title out of nothing, and this is what they came up with. Like some half-baked idea that became a game, because like the plot is pretty much non-existent and uninspired. There's only one animated face in the game. The rest are covered up by helmets and or just a blank head-shaped glowing piece of molten metal. There, on the multiplayer aspect, which drove me insane, there is some weird issues that come along with being in a group, and sometimes it just not registering that you're in a group but still displaying as you are. So somebody can jump into a game thinking that they're in a group, but then you're not there, and they're like, ah, crap. Well, we gotta back out of the mission and then re-invite. So that's fun. That's a fun bug. There's no party interface, like party UI, that shows up on screen. So it's still just your stats that's on screen, which implies that the co-op might have been tacked on later, like late into the game. There's no map whatsoever for when you're in a mission. And the waypoint system is corner to corner instead of just showing you the direction to go. So like if you hit a junction of some kind, then the waypoint decides to move where you need to go. So instead of like exploring the area as you're going to your destination, you're constantly following this little diamond across the screen because it keeps moving to different places. It's like the scout flies in Monster Hunter World, but so blatant. and annoying. Let's see what else. For the loot chase aspect of it, I didn't feel much inspiration to keep going. Oh, I should go over the Valor plates. They're straight up Warframes. They're just Warframe ripoffs. That's all they are. Minus the actual thing that made Warframes unique. Like, they all have this little passive, and then they have a used on multiples ability that has either an element related to that Warframe or that Valor plate. Sorry, they're Warframes, or a you make duplicates of your dude and they attack the enemy for a duration. Like that, their super moves are so limited, and you have like 12 to choose from or something like that. But unlocking them isn't anything special because they all kind of do similar things. Despite appearing like there's variety in the game, there's really not. Like, the only variety really comes from the weapons and the kind of loadout that you choose, and maybe the build a little bit. The build system was pretty solid for leveling up and abilities and stuff, but it doesn't save really the rest of it. So the art direction, the abilities, and the environments are cool, but everything else really falls short. Oh, so man, I spent a good chunk of that just ranting about Godfall. So I played some Fallout 3, been recording for a Caedo's Countdown to the Worst NPCs. Look forward to that whenever I finish it. And I've done some computer shopping. I'm ramping up to get a new computer. I'm thinking about an HP, one of the Omens. Haven't decided much beyond that. I do have a link. I want to see whether or not the price goes down when Black Friday rolls around.
I thought that was yesterday.
Black Friday? No.
I'm not in retail anymore, so I don't have to pay attention.
It's the Friday after Thanksgiving, which is on the 26th.
I'm English. All right.
So I'm just letting you know that's what it is.
We don't have anything to be thankful over here.
But the world also doesn't realize what Black Friday is as a day anymore. They're just like, well, we got to start our sales early, get ahead of everybody else. And it's basically the whole month at this point. Yep. So anyway, what have you been doing, Sarge? I'm hoping that you haven't been playing Godfall.
I've not. I have played another game I got a bit disappointed with, though, for completely different reasons. Destiny 2. It had the Beyond Light update. I didn't know about that. I actually reinstalled the game. I tried to play it and was like, oh, nothing's working. Oh, they're in the middle of an update. Okay, I'll come back tomorrow. But Wow. Yeah. So I've inadvertently tried playing the Beyond Light update. Destiny 2's gone too far for me now. As someone who plays it very casually and who doesn't have the DLC, like, this is a big point. Because I don't have the DLC, the game allows me to play, like, the first mission in a bunch of quests, but not go any further. Mm-hmm. And I'm just left not knowing what I can or should be doing all the time. Like, the game has some beautiful cinematics, the combat is great, there's a very in-depth gear system, which I can't rate positively or negatively because I do not understand it well enough. There's a lot of good stuff about the game. If it was a single-player experience, I'd play the hell out of it. I would. It'd be great. I'd be able to understand what's going on. The cinematics are beautiful. There's so much good about it. But as a multiplayer ever-changing experience that I jump into like once a year, enjoy shooting stuff, then get confused, it's never going to be my game. That's the sad truth of it.
Bummer.
I do have friends who play it, like Get Good Guy Dame Over and Crazy Eyed Eddie have all been streaming it, and they've been having fun with it, and they know what they're doing. But listening to them talk is like listening to someone speaking like half in a foreign language. Like, they'll start out a sentence in English, and then they'll be talking Destiny language, and it's like, oh, cool. I didn't understand any of the nouns in that sentence.
That was like my first introduction to Warframe, dude. That's what it sounds like.
Yep.
What's a forma?
Yeah. You really need to go hard into that game. Yep. So, Destiny 2, I think it's a great game. I'll never really find out, though.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, and they have nicknames for stuff too.
Yeah, like I understand light levels and ghosts and lots of plot-related stuff. But that's the other thing as well. They've got rid of the old plot with the Red Legion, which I understood. That doesn't seem to be in the game anymore, because things have gone forward. Also, one of the characters is dead, but I played through a mission in which they died, which was very weird. Because I went to, like, the home base and everyone was talking about this guy being dead, and then the first mission I did, he was alive, and just like, hey everyone, let's go through this mission, everything's gonna be fine.
Oh, man, that's weird.
I was like, wow, you're so dead, aren't you?
Like, the narrative doesn't keep up, like, player to player?
Like, well, they've almost got it right, but they're obviously not wanting to gate out too much of the old content, because there's a campaign where this character dies, and apparently it's a really good campaign, people love it and stuff, but the actual game world is now past the point of him being dead, so they've obviously wanted to keep in this old stuff whilst pushing towards the new stuff, but it doesn't entirely overlap. So, you do a few minor time travels with the quests. Which is...
weird.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. But that's it. But I've played games I do somewhat understand. 2 games in particular. Far Cry 4, I've just got back into recently. Uplay, pile of trash, hate it. It logs me into the wrong account every single time, so it takes me like 10 minutes to start up the game.
Oh, you play so good though, Sarge.
It's so
Why
bad.
Are you talking so... I'm just kidding.
It's frustratingly bad. Like, to the point of, if I'm going to play Far Cry 4, I can't jump in for like an hour, like I'd like to, just every once in a while, just like, oh, I've got a bit of time to kill here, let's jump in. I have to be like, okay, have I got like 3 to 4 hours spare? Because I don't want to deal with Uplay for 10 minutes just for like half an hour of fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that was suggested was causing the problems to begin with, and me trying to play a game.
Yep.
So, you know, I get it.
That's terrible. But Far Cry 4 itself is a great game. I love the Far Cry franchise. I only ever did like the Pagan Min ending originally, which is like the cheapskate, but also the best ending, in my opinion. Like, I did that originally when I played it on console. This time around, I'm going for the Amita playstyle, because in the game, you're helping the Golden Path, is what you're supposed to do, and you can side with either Amita or Sabal, a pair of siblings, each time. I've decided I'm going to do 2 playthroughs. One where I side with Amita all the time and see what happens throughout that one. One where I side with Sabal all the time, see what happens that one. I think that'll be just kind of fun.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. It's quite cool, like... Far Cry, as an experience these days, a lot of people complain about it being, like, super repetitive and stuff, and, like, very cookie-cutter, and it is. That's actually the reason I enjoy it, because I enjoy climbing to the top of towers, liberating the place, sniping outposts silently, all of that stuff. Right. I love it. But suddenly getting, like, actual, like, choices which fully impact the story and stuff feels weird in that game. Like, it's such an RPG thing, and it does a better job than a lot of RPGs, because it's very simple, and just, like, you got 2 choices, pick one of them, and we'll go down that path. Like, it's a very simple way to do it, but works really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been loving that. It's great. It's really, really good. Good game. Thumbs up. Also been playing Total War Warhammer. I love the Warhammer world.
I saw that.
Yeah, I've been playing it. I also read... In, like, the past week, I've read 4 books.
Wow.
4, maybe 5 books. I can't remember where I started. I haven't read in, like, years, and I forgot that I'm, like, a stupidly fast reader. Like, I as a child, I used to, like, read, like, you know the Goosebumps books?
Yeah.
I'd read, like, 4 or 5 of them a day. I just
nice.
blitz through reading as a child. But now I have video games, so I rarely do it anymore. But yeah, I read a whole bunch of Warhammer books, and then that got me to play Total War Warhammer as the dwarfs. Yeah, rock and stone!
Rock and stone. I didn't even have to prompt you. Nice.
Yeah. It's not even a Warhammer thing. But yeah, I did 1 playthrough as Grombrindal the White Dwarf, where I smashed everything and was a badass. Now I'm playing as Slayer King, loving it as well. Tried out the vampire counts. Didn't stick with them though, because I didn't enjoy them that much. They've got no artillery, which I love, but I'm having fun with that game. It's really cool. I love the Warhammer world. Lots of fun in that game. It's good.
Awesome. And
I've been watching movies. Which are
That's good to hear.
Except
you want to talk about the bad movie?
Oh, okay. I will. So most of the movies I've watched have been good, but I watched The Grandmaster on Netflix recently. It's like a 75% on Metacritic or something like that, or whatever the Rotten Tomatoes, maybe? I don't know. Like, it's quite well regarded. It's trash. It's trash. It deserves to be in the bin. 10% at most. I do not like it. It's a martial arts movie. It's a Chinese one. It's about Ip Man, who, like, made Wing Chun famous, and he's the guy who trained Bruce Lee. Like, he's Bruce Lee's mentor. He's very famous in the martial arts world. There's, like, 4 or 5 Ip Man movies made, each getting progressively worse, but the first one is amazing. Like, he's, like, top 5 most famous martial arts figures in the world, I'd say. So this is a guy who's got a great story to go off. This movie, which recounts his life story, is terrible. The martial arts scenes, each of them has, like, a couple of good shots, and then the rest of it is just quick cuts. Like, you'll have shots that are 10 frames long, which you do not do if, like, on the regular, if you're actually making a good combat scene. Let the viewer actually see the action, because I want to say the actors knew what they were doing. Like, because of some of the shots which were, like, well constructed, I was like, okay, so it looks like these actors might be talented martial artists, but I could not tell because the camera was constantly cutting. The rule of 180 wasn't even always obeyed, so you'd occasionally have it being like, oh, okay, who's hitting who now? It was terrible. I hated it. It feels like such a wasted opportunity. They throw in a romantic subplot which didn't actually happen in his life. It was kind of, like, made up and boring. Like, oh, I have so many issues with it. Terrible movie. Cannot stand it.
Well, it's definitely not one I will watch.
No. One you should watch, though, is the movie I can't remember the name of, which I did watch last night, which is a Korean movie about a heist and then people being hunted after a heist, which is perfect. It's called Time to Hunt, I want to say. And it's one of those movies...
You can look at your watch history, too.
Yeah, but I have to boot up my Xbox to check my Netflix.
All right.
Yeah. But, it's a movie that after I finished watching it, I sat in silence for about 5 minutes just to let the ending and all of it sink in. It's that kind of a movie. Like, it will properly ring with you on every single level. It is so well constructed, the characters are all interesting, there's enough mystery. It also manages to do an ending which sets it up for a sequel while still being a perfect narrative ending as just one singular piece. If they never make a sequel, perfect. If they make a sequel, perfect. They had dream sequences as well, which were clearly dream sequences, but didn't feel tacky, and really added to the emotional depth of the characters, and made the plot go further along, and hinted at stuff. God, it is a masterclass in movie making, in my opinion.
Wow. That's high praise.
Yeah. Like, for those who don't realise, I'm more of a movie nerd than a video game nerd. And they did everything right. Oh god, they even did, like, show don't tell, which is, like, one of the most basic parts of storytelling, where you don't... There's points where they don't tell you a character has died. They show stuff which implies a character is probably dead, but still leaves some open for interpretation, because the characters themselves don't fully know. They're just struggling with it. And, oh, I love the movie. Bring the director here, I need to make out of them.
Well, alright. Maybe we could make that a topic at some point, like...
Directors
kind
Sarge
of, like,
make out with.
string it into... No, not Sarge making out with directors, but also... talking about the... movies that inspired, because I don't think we've talked about that as a movies or media that have inspired Fallout. I think you had that as a suggestion in something. What other properties add to Fallout was one of the things that you suggested. So maybe we'll do something like that. If you have suggestions in those of you listening, please put those down in the description. Post-apocalyptic movies or books or whichever. But I think that's all we have for this PIPCAST. If you want to be a comment of the cast, like we've had at the beginning of this podcast, you can leave a comment, and if it's contributing to the topic or just something off the wall, like if you're telling Sarge he's handsome or something like that, it might end up as a comment of the cast. If you want to see what Sarge is doing on his channel.
Nothing. To be fair,
Or see what Sarge has done.
this time next week I should actually have a video up.
Okay,
I bet
you want to see
it's
what
it.
Sarge has done on his channel. We have him linked down below and in the end card of this podcast. If for me, you're on my channel. We have the Patreon, which you can get cool benefits from. You can be like Wasteland Legends fan if you're really generous, and maybe even get your own command in the Discord server. Or you can just be a standard supporter and also be a part of the special supporters chat, where I come and hang out every so often and we just BS for a bit. But that's our show. Every other Sunday, we have the podcast at 10 a.m. Pacific. So catch you in a couple weeks. You take care of yourselves.